Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Facebook Live. I hope you're having a great Tuesday evening. We're getting closer to the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. You'll notice the beard is definitely growing in. Let me know. Comment. What do you think? Beard, no beard? Because December 1st, it's going to be gone. So I wanted to do this Facebook Live. First of all, I'm so tired I could sleep standing up. Man, and my last newscast, the 9 and 10, I was losing it in terms of energy and just totally running out of steam. But just to let you know, this is going to be my last Facebook Live for the rest of the month. I will be back December 1st. December 1st, we could have some interesting weather. We're going to take a look at all that. But my day was great. It was a little busy, but we got a lot going on, and I wanted to provide this little live update to let you know about what you can expect, what to be looking for, some of the things that could happen with the long range forecast, and talk about some other stuff. So some people are saying they like the beard, some people saying no beard, but I need a Baja Blast, that's for sure. I might get that on the way back. Okay, guys, so take care. Here's what we've got. Weather headlines. Quiet weather is likely through about Friday. So Friday looking good. Saturday is going to get a little rainy. Got to run back over here, get my controller so I can click through this. And just to let you know, it is just me in the weather lab. Davion will be in tomorrow evening. He'll be working Wednesday through Sunday. So he's got a full week's worth of weather in the evenings. He'll be doing all the shows. He'll need the Baja Blasts too. Aleshli Castro, she's going to be joining the morning show on Friday as Josh gets some much-deserved time off. Speaking of time off, after Friday, we've got this weather system that's coming in. Wet weather is coming in for Saturday. No doubt about that. You can guarantee that wet weather is going to happen. And colder weather is likely for next week. We know that's pretty much a given, a certainty at this point. What isn't quite certain is what's going to happen the first week in December. So that's what I'm going to kind of focus on. Again, this isn't going to be an hour-long Facebook Live. We'll just go through a few things, let you know about what's going on. First of all, it's getting colder right now as the cold front has pushed through. Also a little breezy as well. I hope you're snuggled up and we're able to stay warm because we've got that frontal boundary that pushed in. There's those winds that are starting to crank up. You can see those winds are going to be a little gusty throughout the night. In fact, we'll take a look at the current winds and the current wind chills, and it's not very warm outside right now. In fact, we look at the current wind chill across the area. It's right now feeling like lower 40s, upper 30s in Tahlequah, and those winds are really starting to kick up compared to what they were not too long ago. So Jeremy, the reason that I've got the beard is it's No Shave November. And our general manager, Lisa Kelsey, is a very big supporter of No Shave November because her husband had prostate cancer and got screened, found it early, got it taken care of. And so that's why we are able to grow our facial hair to bring up awareness for, men's health, testicular, prostate cancer, breast cancer, and mental health too. So physical and mental health issues that men face every day. So yeah, I see the 6'7" on there. I saw Hunter Yurachek do that too as well. So yeah, we can zoom out a little bit. We'll show you that as we look at the winds across the region. So definitely some stronger winds in the northwestern sections of our weather coverage area, and then also you can see the big storm system. We're gonna take a look here at what's going on. But all right, so let me go back to a local view, and then we'll go way out and we'll show you some stuff. Yeah, the sky is very clear, but that's not going to last either as some high clouds start streaming in pretty soon, Dennis. So here's the wind chill factor overnight tonight and into the morning. We're expecting wind chills to be down into the mid to upper 20s. So I don't know if anybody's doing some traveling over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. A lot of people are, traveling tomorrow. Yours truly, along with the family. And so packing up the car, going to be a little cold. Wind chills will be in the mid to upper 20s. Low temperatures will probably be right around freezing. Now on Wednesday in the afternoon, Those highs are going to be a little cooler, but we're looking at some really nice weather. Now, there is going to be a little weather system swinging through on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. It's a little clipper system. I don't think it squeezes out measurable precipitation, but I think there may be a snowflake or two that maybe makes it to the ground. It's not out of the question. It is northwest flow. We'll take you through that. And then Thanksgiving afternoon, let me go back to that. It looks pretty quiet. Highs will be in the lower 50s, sunshine, looking really nice. Jeremy says that his mom needs prayers as well. The power of prayer is incredible. Make sure that you pray. Advanced stage 4 colon cancer. Gosh, I hate to hear that. Cancer does suck. There was actually a guy that interviewed Chris Como today and said, he can kill cancer. So I haven't seen it. I did record it because I want to see what's going on. Okay, Kelsey, you got a great question. We're going to talk about that for Sunday. And we're going to get to the long range forecast in just a second. So all you long range forecast people wondering about the forecast for this weekend, we're going to dive into that. But here's this little clipper system. See, the clouds increase throughout. Let me go back a little bit and show you that we've got some high clouds that will be streaming in tonight. So not a lot, but a little bit. And then you'll see those clouds clearing out Wednesday. That's why it's so cold. And then we've got the clouds rolling back in Wednesday afternoon. So I think it will be pretty chilly with those clouds and the winds. And then you'll see this little clipper system diving in. See that? Just tries to squeeze out a little bit of precipitation. You got to know it's northwest flow. And then Thursday, Thanksgiving morning, going to be quiet. Thanksgiving afternoon, going to be great for the backyard football games, as we mentioned. Here's a look at the 2-day forecast timeline. Let me take the camera off the screen so you can see this a little bit better. Here's a look at northwest Arkansas, mid to upper 40s, mid 30s to lower 30s Thursday next week, or this week, I'm sorry. We'll talk about next week here in just a bit. And there's your 2-day forecast timeline for the River Valley, as temperatures will be in the lower to middle 40s. All right, so we showed you the weather headlines. Let's get back to the wet weather that's coming for Saturday and the colder weather that's coming for next week. So before we talk about these precipitation chances, I just got to let you know that we know rain is going to be very likely for our Saturday. So if you're going to the Razorback game, show up, give those seniors some love. I know that they don't have, postseason ball to play for, but, maybe we can win the Battle Line rivalry, win one game in the SEC. I sure hope so. But here's a look at all this rain that's coming in. And we got widespread rain. There's no doubt about that. So Saturday in the morning hours, rain is looking likely. Saturday afternoon into the evening, rain is looking likely. Saturday night, rain is looking likely. But then by Saturday late night, we actually get, if you notice, I personally believe, a little bit of a wintry mix. Now, remember, this is a lower resolution model. Higher resolution models will get this a little bit better. But I do think a wintry mix will be possible Saturday night into Sunday morning in the higher terrain. Now, will this cause issues? Absolutely not. Will there be the potential for at least precipitation? Yes. But if anybody's saying this is a big system Saturday night into Sunday morning, it is, but it's not a winter weather providing system. It's not a real great setup for that. The cold air has to be in place already for the winter weather to come and arrive. If it's not, and the cold air is arriving as the precipitation is moving out, that's just not a favorable pattern for heavy precipitation. Let's take a look at this long-range forecast. So I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to load up, again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to load up the GFS, and we're going to load up the European model, and we're going to put them side by side. So stand by. I'm going to put the GFS on the left side and the European on the right, and we're going to step through this. And I want to show you the uncertainty and to why we have to deal with this uncertainty. So first of all, you're going to notice the vorticity and spin on the left side and the right side. Boy, those match up pretty well. You can see a storm system in the Pacific Northwest. You can also see another storm system that's moving through the Great Lakes region. Let's go through basically Wednesday, 6 p.m. Wednesday, 6 p.m. And now you can see the European actually doesn't have as much energy diving in for the Northwest as the GFS. Remember, the GFS is on the left and the European's on the right. So American model, GFS left, right side, European model. There's the system diving in. Let's go to Thursday. We know Thursday is pretty quiet, so we don't even really need to bother with that. So let's go to Thursday, 7 p.m. Both models, very similar, right? Got the energy moving in from the southwestern United States. Now we've got the system that's starting to show up that's in the Pacific Northwest. That system is what brings us the widespread rain for our Saturday. So let's take you through our Friday. And now look at that system diving in. So the GFS on the left, the European on the right. 7 p.m. Friday, both systems, I've actually got it highlighted, and you'll also see some energy moving in. So I do believe some rain starts to develop Friday night before midnight. Now, as we go into our Saturday, watch what happens. There's the system coming in on the GFS. GFS, it really has a bias for going too fast. It typically does. It always typically happens. Here's a look at Saturday. Let's go to noon. Saturday noon. So notice how the GFS is a lot farther east of the system, meaning it's going to clear out a lot faster. I don't think that happens. But as we get into our Saturday evening, that energy starts to move through. There will be a little bit of backside energy as the cold air arrives. Let's go to Saturday, 10 p.m. And you can see that's kind of similar, isn't it? Now we start to diverge. This is why the uncertainty lies for the early part of December, for the first week in December. And this is why, when you're looking at computer model forecasts, you can't post stuff, just like what Jeremy said. These non-meteorologists, it's not just non-meteorologists, Jeremy, anymore. It's anybody and everybody. It's a free-for-all on social media because engagement, likes, blah, 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 yada, 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 all that stuff is what is like a drug to some people. It is like an absolute heroin addiction. And I mean that very seriously. Like this engagement that people thrive for and like yearn for. And I know engagement is what drives up, the viewing audience in terms of their post. The more people that engage with it, the more people get paid. And it's tiring, it's exhausting, it's ridiculous. It also hurts the messaging of meteorology. And it also doesn't convey the uncertainty as to why long-range forecast. It's a dopamine hit. It absolutely is. There's no doubt about it. And it's just ridiculous. So here is a look at, let's go into early part of next week. And this is where the storm systems really start to diverge. So we're going to go to Saturday. We're going to go to Sunday, 10 p.m. Now, back to our graphics, back to our two models. So we got the GFS on the left, the European on the right. Notice how the European has that energy over Las Vegas. You can see it. I'll bring it up on 1 and 2, and then we'll do both. So here's the vorticity and spin on the American model, the GFS, and it's already starting to eject. And this becomes a progressive trough. Here's another one. So I'm going to go back and forth. See how that's way farther west? This is important because this is all about the timing of the system. So personally, I don't think anything really happens on Sunday. Sunday morning, if it is a wintry mix, Kendall, it would be very, very early in the morning, Sunday morning, and it's not a big deal. The bigger deal, I think, is going to be Monday night into Tuesday. So watch what happens here. We're going to go to the Monday 6 p.m. time frame, and we're going to go to the Monday 6 p.m. time frame on this. So now look at the difference. Now the ejection of this system is causing it to move a lot faster. So the GFS model has this system moving in on Monday, which is why people are calling for winter weather on Monday. But the European model doesn't show Monday anymore. It shows Tuesday. Look at the difference. So there's the American model. There's the GFS model. Notice how farther to the west that energy is. Now we'll go forward in time to Tuesday. And at this point, the Speedy Gonzalez GFS, which is always typically too fast. It's got a too fast bias, as it always does. So we'll go to the match the times, exact same model run. Let's go to Tuesday, 6 p.m. And now you're going to see energy that's over top of Northwest Arkansas for the European, but the GFS has it long gone. I mean, it's not even like it's not even in the realm of our area. And here's a great question. Does either model pick up any potential energy, the Baja energy? No, they both struggle with it dearly. And this is why I personally think, I personally think that the Baja energy is going to be a key player in the precipitation with the cold air. We know the cold air is coming, and we know that's in place. I just got to tell you this, Josh. Tip your phone sideways. I'm actually going to remove the potential for. I know the vertical portrait mode does not work very well. It's supposed to. It cuts off the graphics. These graphics aren't built for portrait. Nothing's built for portrait. To be honest with you, when you're talking about broadcasting, the only thing that does portrait is Instagram. And Instagram, in my opinion, just started the whole portrait conundrum where you don't watch TVs. So you're on the desktop and you're in portrait. Can you switch it to landscape? It should be able to do both. And if you can't, I'm going to, if you're YouTube Shorts, that's good. That's good advice. Thank you for letting me know about that. I will remove the vertical portrait. So someone said I'm on desktop and it's landscape. All right. So going back to the analysis of these two systems. And so all these long range posts that show, 5,000, 6,000 miles out of these systems, you've got basically no idea what's happening, but they make it sound like they know exactly what's going to take place, which is absolutely not true. Okay, I'm going to go all the way to Thursday, 6 p.m. And look, we've got now a similar setup, but it looks like the European model will have more colder air aloft. And you go to the GFS and it's got that system out west. So here's what we know. You're looking at those two models. You know there's going to be energy next week. Will it come in on Sunday or Monday? No, it'll come in on Sunday. It'll come in on Tuesday, in my opinion. Monday night into Tuesday is when that energy moves in. So how does that all translate to precipitation? This is what I want to show you. So we have to look at that system. And now we're going to take a look at the precipitation for it. So we'll start off with this, and we'll look at the GFS precipitation, okay? And I've got to pull this back. I've got to remove some of these pause points. But here we go. Let's take a look at what the GFS has. Now that you know both models and what they show. So quiet Wednesday. Thursday, they got that little clipper system diving in. See, it's got a little bit of precipitation, and that makes sense because you remember the European didn't have as much focused energy for that northwest flow. I will say that's something the European does struggle on. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few snowflakes and some little bit of sleet that mixes in with some light precipitation for Thanksgiving in the early morning. Is it enough to put a 20% on there? Not quite yet. But remember that energy was a little more focused in Northwest Arkansas. So after that clears out, a beautiful Thanksgiving afternoon, then we start to see the clouds increase, and rain is no doubt. It's raining on Saturday. Widespread rain too. Saturday evening, this is when the cold air starts to arrive, and I think a little bit of a wintry mix behind the system, and then actually just took it out. The 0ZGFS took it out. But we know that the system's moving east. So Sunday, in my opinion, Sunday you don't have anything to worry about precipitation-wise. And also, too, the cold air will probably be a lot stronger, so the European and the GFS both are not handling that. And then you'll see, look at the cold air plowing south. That blue line that you see on the screen, that is the freezing line at the surface. So anytime that's really close, watch out. Here comes this system Monday. And then look, it's got precipitation Monday and into Tuesday. But remember, it might be too fast, and it's too progressive with the system coming in early next week. That's why I personally think Monday into Tuesday, but that's why I put 20% for Monday and Tuesday. And then later on in the week, after that moves through, there's a lot of uncertainty, but it looks like colder weather will continue. Okay, now let's look at the GFS model. So we'll go back in time for the GFS. We'll start off wide. Let me get the camera off the screen. So here's your European model. European shows that system moving in through the Great Lakes. Pretty decent snows in Wisconsin. And then you can see there's the energy diving in on Friday night into Saturday morning. Widespread rain for the Razorback game. Don't think there's going to be a whole lot of thunderstorms, at least for the Razorback time frame. But Saturday night, you'll see the cold air start to pour in. See that little bit of a wintry mix right there? Let me zoom in on that, and I'll show you. Go back to it. So there's a look at just a tiny little bit of a wintry mix. Then, as we go into our Sunday, I'm going to zoom out here a little bit. Sunday's quiet. So originally, those long-range models that people were posting earlier in the week that had just like 14 inches of snow and 10 inches of ice and all that stuff, that system doesn't even exist anymore on Sunday. Okay, so here's what we're going to do with the portrait. I'm just going to remove that ability to do portrait on Instagram, on YouTube, because it does. I've seen it before. It just takes the graphics and it just cuts them off on the sides. Not what I'm looking for instead of bringing it out. Okay, so now let's go back to this real quick. That's the European model. So remember, the European model for Sunday to Monday is a lot slower. See it? Off to the west, then it kicks out. Now, I can tell you this. I don't care what the models are showing at this point. This type of pattern does favor wintry precipitation in terms of not just snow. Freezing rain, sleet, ice, that's all on the table with this system. So that's something that we absolutely have to watch. And I'm not even talking about, models aren't going to be perfect. They're not going to show, even the high-res models aren't going to show what's happening, but perfectly. But we know that the pattern is favorable. Meteorologically, it makes sense because you got persistent southwest flow atop very cold Arctic air that's surging in from the north, and all that combines with the potential for winter weather. So we'll go back to the European model. Sunday's quiet. Monday, not so much, because Monday night, here comes that system. But now look, why is there no precipitation all the way until Tuesday afternoon? And notice how it also has it a lot farther south. We don't know exactly when that low pressure system is going to eject. We do know it's possible, but we don't know exactly when. Also, too, that's a lot lower on precipitation, in my opinion. And so I don't agree with what that shows. And then if we look at the long range, it has another system coming in. Now, I will say this, that yours truly has gotten some, let's just say, model data that is a higher resolution model that, by the way, goes a lot farther out than the HRRR. And I have the ability to show it on social media. And, why not? I'm going to give you a little Thanksgiving treat. This is called the Horizon model. It's the Horizon AI model, and it's something that you can't get anywhere. So let me show you what we've got. I'm going to bring this up. Yeah, we lost you. Oh no. Did that just go out? Okay. Am I still on? Think I did something there accidentally. Think I'm still on. My bad on that. I hit the wrong button. But yes, this is interesting. We're going to take a look at this. I've got a special grid where it's a little bit closer, and you'll get to see that. Okay, good. You're still on, but I lost all the comments on there. So I apologize for that. Good deal. I probably dropped off, though, real briefly. Well, we are in the testing phase of this model, okay? And we are doing some analysis and analysis on this. But let me show you what we've got. So I think you're gonna like this. This is gonna be kind of interesting for you. So Horizon AI is a 2 kilometer model, which is higher resolution than 3 kilometer. Not going to get into all the details, but I will show as share the screen, the window. We're going to save this right here. So here is the ClimaVision Horizon AI model. And obviously, everything's really quiet Wednesday. It does show those high clouds streaming in. Let's see if it breaks out any precipitation. It does for tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Then it clears those clouds out with that clipper system. So it's doing a pretty good job there. Then as we go into our Friday, the clouds start to increase. So I think that's pretty good. Now you're going to see this kind of pause for a little bit, and there's a bug with the precipitation because all at this point it's already raining, and you're going to see it pop on pretty quickly right there. So all this, the clouds are moving, but the precipitation is not. So this is a problem with the rendering, but nevertheless, you get the idea. Rain, very likely Saturday. That's why we went nearly 100%. The heaviest rain starts moving out, but additional rain kind of pops here and there. Look at that. You can actually see the vorticity coming through Saturday evening. Then as we go throughout our Sunday early morning, it does not bring in a wintry mix. So it does not do that. Look at how it's higher res instead of those blobs. Now, as we go into our Sunday, nothing happens. But this is where the plot thickens on Sunday. And I'm not posting this, but Sunday night into Monday, watch this. Here comes some energy moving in, and that shows in the morning hours on Monday as we're colder and we've got dry air at the surface, the evaporative cooling, all that stuff will lead to the potential for a little bit of a dose of a wintry mix. After that moves out, we do get warmer and start to rain, but then it could turn to ice again. And there you get to see that. And that's for Monday. And then Tuesday, I think the system is out. No, there's another system coming in Tuesday. So there you go. Now you get the idea that Monday into Tuesday, we've got to watch closely. Lower resolution model data is not going to be perfect on all that. So, yeah, we're doing some testing now that we know what that's going to be like. It's pretty cool that we've got access to that in our trial period that we're using. But man, we're going to definitely be watching that very, very closely. So I think Monday and Tuesday we've got some changes. Now here's the deal: Davion is going to be on tomorrow. You know, he is new to this area, so it may be a little bit of a struggle with microclimates and stuff. I'm going to be off tomorrow through Sunday. I'll be back on Monday. If a big winter storm is looming, I'll do another update. I'll let you know about it. But as of now, the pattern is favorable. We do have to watch that. I do want to close this Facebook Live because I'm gonna shut it down here. Wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. But I got to show you what long range forecasting is like. Okay. This is what long range forecasting is. It's like playing Plinko. I showed this on the air, and I want to show it with you guys. This is what we've got with Plinko forecasting. So these people that are posting these long range forecasts and the deterministic, not even an ensemble, a deterministic. So what that means is you've only got one chip that you're dropping in the Plinko board. You're not even dropping multiple chips to see which one it mainly goes into. No, you've got one chip. And as soon as that falls into a certain slot, that's what you're posting. Absolutely not. Don't. That's not the way to do forecasting. You look at ensembles because what do? When you flip a coin, you do 2 out of 3, or you do, to get the odds. So this is Plinko forecasting. Day 10, the current conditions we're trying to figure out, and this is just in the case of like a snow amount, okay? We're not talking about this for a forecast. This is just an analogy. This is just an example. Day 10, the Plinko chip is way up at the top. But as we go throughout time, there are many paths that chip could take. It could fall on the 2-inch on the left side. It could fall on the 2-inch on the right side. Or it could fall right in the middle and get into the foot of snow, 12. But the odds of that are not very great. There are many paths the forecast can take, including the track of the system, the speed of the system, the location of the system, all that stuff. So let's go ahead and look at that forecast 10 days out. There's all those possibilities, but the model only gives you one solution. Now, that's called deterministic forecast. So when you look at the deterministic run, and that's what people mostly post because they don't know any better, that's not the way to do long-range forecasting. It's the ensembles that are the best way to do that. So let's see where that Plinko chip is actually going. Oh, look at that. It's starting to go down. So one small deviation, as you see right here, it's coming down and then it kind of goes to the left and now it's going to the right. You don't know where that Plinko chip is going. It's got a cone of certainty as it gets closer to the event. So the closer to the event, the fewer paths that are possible. And that is why I think this is a great analogy. And a shout out to the Kansas City National Weather Service who came up with this, and Scott Ryan who put this graphic together. I think it's a great way to describe long-range forecasting. It's like Plinko. So with that being said, you can't post those long-range computer models and expect to be accurate. I mean, yes, maybe every now and then someone gets the Plinko chip in the 10,000, but how often does it happen right off the bat? It can happen, but most likely not. Now, here's another thing that I want to do. I want to show you ensemble forecast. So we're going to look at that real quick. And then after we're done with that, that's when I'm going to show you the 7-day forecast, and we're going to shut down the live stream. So we're going to look at something called mediagrams. I've got to make this full screen so I can show you. I'm going to go back here. So this is Weather Bell, and we're going to look at what's called, see, this is deterministic. If we look at deterministic, this is one solution. This is one possibility. If we look at the multi-run total snow, it showed snow, it didn't show snow. So this is deterministic, okay? One time it had it right here. This is 28 inches of snow. This is what people posted. Is that 28 or 2.8? I don't know. That might be 2.8. Let's see. We'll go back here to 0Z. Yeah, I think that's 2.8. That's not 28. That's 2.8. It doesn't even go back that far. But you'll notice most of the runs don't have winter precipitation. And you know why? Because they're not sampling that system. All right. Now we're going to go to the GFS, deterministic. Let's do multi-run total snow. Didn't have it on the 23rd, started showing it on the 24th. Now it's starting to get a little more confident, but this is just one run. This is called deterministic. Deterministic is not where it's at. It's where you get ensembles. So let's look at the ensemble and let's look at the total snow plume. Now you can see next week, we're starting to get a little more confident that there might be some winter precipitation. Here's another look, multi-run snow. Okay, we're starting to agree a little bit more on the potential for snow. This is what I think is the best. As you'll see, the latest one is starting to show a few more members now having snow in the early part of next week. Now, this is just an 18Z run. We want to get back and look at the 12Z. And here's the 12Z run. Now, I'll tell you, the models are starting to trend a little more with snowy weather. But there's a thing called the control, and there's a thing called the mean. The control is one selection, and the mean is basically all of it. And you can see that, yes, we're starting to see the potential for winter weather. I personally think we do see winter weather potential next week, Sunday, Monday, or Monday, Tuesday, excuse me. It makes sense. Let's go back a couple previous runs, and let's look here. A lot less ensembles that are showing up. But when one deterministic run shows it and people post it, it drives me bonkers, drives me batty. Let's look at the GFS ensemble. We'll look at the same exact thing. Member mean, total snow. And this is basically, it's showing even a little bit coming in for Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And then look at this. The control takes it and goes, shoots it up Monday night into Tuesday morning. So I do think there's going to be the potential for not just snow, but winter precipitation. If we look at the total snow plumes, you can see the plumes are all over the place. But and here's the deal: one of the plumes, which is very not likely, but by Wednesday night into Thursday morning, it has over 8 inches of snow. This is what people post right here, because it gets the attention, it gets the engagement, it gets the drive on social media, it gets that dopamine release where people just thrive off of that. But that's not like Plinko. You only have one chip. Deterministic long-range forecasting is trash. So that kind of tells you exactly what we're expecting. Okay, guys. So yeah, and you've seen Plinko go hard left too. I have. There's no doubt about that. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, but most of the times it doesn't. All right, last thing we're going to do is show you the 7-day forecast, and we'll shut this down as you're wondering what's going on. So here's a look at the forecast that I have. So Wednesday, 48. Thanksgiving, we're in the lower 50s. Then we're in the upper 40s. Then we've got kickoff Saturday, 46 degrees. And next week, winter precipitation. I've got it on there Monday, Tuesday. But I do have a big question mark. Now, that question mark will probably be removed within a few days. 20% will probably go up, in my opinion. But the reason that it's not higher is because the confidence factor is a lot less. So we're not sure about that. Ham is better than turkey. Cranberry sauce can take a height. Change my mind. We're going to be talking about, yeah, exactly. Man, I'm so hungry right now. I can tell you this, Scott, I just don't see a snowy weather pattern. We've got the jet stream, southwesterly flow, persistent southwesterly flow. If that energy is stronger than expected, guess what? You've got some problems where you've got more precipitation overrunning that shallow, cold Arctic air. By the way, I've made some really cool graphics that I will share here someday. I'm not going to do it right now. Let's see here. That's problems. This is problems. I'm going to show you something. Get rid of that. Get rid of the Earth highlight. There we go. This is the European model, and this is the jet stream. See that northwesterly flow? That's why you get a clipper system. Then we got a ridge. Saturday, next system dives in. Monday, look at that. Big, huge, positively tilted trough. Now, positively tilted troughs, that is a recipe for winter mix of precipitation, not just snow. It will not just be snow. It'll be freezing rain. It'll be sleet. It'll be some snow and cold rain. It'll all be mixed in. Come on, really? You're seeing that? That's just ridiculous. There's always a chance that it could happen, but probably not. But you know what? That gets everybody worked up. And then on top of that, everybody says meteorologists are wrong all the time. Oh, you guys can't even get it right 2 days. So tired of those comments. I really am. It's just so overused. It's like, no, you can be wrong in a lot of things. You can be wrong in everything. In fact, everybody is wrong. Everybody falls short. Seriously, nobody's perfect. And yes, you still get paid for your job too. But that's why we have that uncertainty for next week. And we're conveying that uncertainty. But that doesn't get the engagement. That doesn't get the likes. That's not what social media pumps to the top of your feeds. No, it's the heavy snow maps. It almost like triggers something in the brain that makes people go nuts. Yeah, I know. Someone's hangry. You're right. Let me get some Baja Blast. Get some Taco Bell, I think, on the way home. And you know what? I'm off for the next few days, so I need a little break, and we'll be watching this closely. But Davion will give you no mess forecast. Didn't do the River Valley though. I'll show you the River Valley forecast. So we got River Valley. I still have 20% in there as well. No, but it is true. I mean, I could sleep and get some rest, but the truth is people still say that. And what's funny about it is like someone was going to say I'm wrong about Saturday before it even happens. It's like, how can you be wrong before the weather event happened? That's beyond me. That's interesting. But everyone, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Be thankful for, whatever. There's a lot of stuff to be thankful for. Thankful for my good Lord. I'm thankful for wonderful family. Can't wait to spend some family time. Watch some football games. Having to do the shows on Thursday. Some great NFL football games. The Packers playing Detroit. Got the Cowboys playing the Chiefs. And then you got the Razorbacks playing Duke. Man, that's some incredible games and some fun stuff. So anyways, take care, guys. God bless. Have a great, wonderful Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and enjoy the rain Saturday. And then we'll continue to keep you updated with a no mess, no hype, no exaggeration, ensemble, non-deterministic only forecast. Take care, guys. God bless. See you later. Have a good one.